Remotely Dangerous, the remote comedy game show. I am joined by three special guests today, Matt, Jeff, and Fro from the Top 5 of Death podcast. Thanks for being here, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, thanks for having us and me.
And thanks for saying Jeff was a part of the show, even though he hasn't been on an episode for like 4 years.
Yeah, I felt a little weird about that, but I'm glad you got it up.
That's okay.
Has it really been like 4 years?
No.
Nah, I don't know.
He's a host in my eyes. I just wanted to I wanted to take that opportunity. This is a competition. I wanted to get in Jeff's head right now. So Jeff, you little. Hey, can we swear on this show?
Yeah, sure.
Matt, you got into my head just the moment you logged on before we did this, before we even started recording.
Now you're in my head.
Have you guys still been doing episodes in the quarantine?
Oh yeah.
Yes, we're still releasing. We release on Mondays. So yeah, our remote setup has actually the quarantine has kind of forced us to set up like a remote setup, which is actually it's been pretty beneficial. So yeah, we're still recording and releasing every week.
Cool. Anywhere? Well, actually, I guess for anybody that's not familiar, what's the concept of the podcast?
I'll take it from here.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
It's called the Top 5 of Death, and it's a show where I'm just kidding. Matt, you do this. I haven't done it in a long time.
Why would you take it and then immediately bail on it? I was perfectly fine. This is all right. You know what? This is why
you kicked me off the show.
Yeah, you were kicked off the show.
Bro, you explain it. You haven't said shit for a few minutes.
I need to explain it? Oh, man, It's going to train wreck. Okay, fine. Top 5 of Death.
All right.
It is a list show where we have a given subject and we choose 5 things each. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then the original format was people would vote on the lists of whose list they like the most, and we would write a short story of how that person would die using the subject matter, but we haven't figured that out in this new 2020 day and age in order to get that kind of going, if we will again.
Yeah, it's been, we just recorded episode 317, and as time goes on, people are less and less either pumped on winning to write a death or submitting a death before we record next time. So it's been a bit of a, we just kind of like pretend that it happens.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, well, maybe we'll have some deaths happening later on in the episode, but let's dive into our first game. It's now time for a game we call Do I Like This? I'm just going to show you guys a series of things and activities, and for each one, you just have to try to guess, do I personally like this thing? All
Me
right?
or you?
Do you, Tim?
Me, Tim, do
Okay.
I like this thing? You have to guess my opinion.
Oh, okay.
I'll direct the questions to each of you as we go. Matt, do I like hardcore?
I mean, you're moshing in this video, so you know what? I'm going to say no. Do I need to back up why I'm saying that?
Not really. Fro, do I like albacore?
I believe, yeah, you do. You like it more than hardcore. It's a good tuna.
Disgusting. Jeff, do I
Shot
like
that fish.
Do you like parkour or do you participate in it?
Do I like it?
I think you do. Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Hey, you can't give it away.
Matt, do I like falcor?
Fuck yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah, he's the best. Fro, do I like the Supremes?
I'm gonna say yeah, you do, because why not?
Yeah, they're fine. Jeff,
Right.
do I like Crunchwrap Supremes?
I'm gonna say yeah.
Yeah, they're delicious. Matt, do I like Vermin Supreme?
No. I'm gonna say you don't.
I think he's kind of fun.
No, you're wrong about your own opinion.
Jeff, do I like massages?
Where is the massage?
Come on.
You can't ask qualifying. This is gonna be Fro's problem. He never answers a fucking question. He always has
gonna
a
be
million semantics.
One of many Fro's problems.
It depends. All-encompassingly, yeah, sure, you like massages, but not foot massages.
I don't like them. My hands get tired.
Oh,
Do I like leprechauns?
Is you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've never seen one. Matt, do I like Lassie?
Yeah, or you're a pinko commie.
Yeah, she's a good girl.
All right.
Bro, do I like Lucy?
No, you love Lucy.
Yeah, you're right.
Fucker.
Jeff, do I like Bruce Lee?
Yes.
Yeah, I wish I could be him. Matt, do I like my Uncle Brucey?
No, you don't.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I'm doing real bad.
Bro, do I like roller coasters?
Yes, but your wife hates them.
Yes, that's true. Jeff, do I like water slides?
Yes.
Yeah, they're sick. Matt, do I like slip and slides?
Yes.
Yeah, they're the best.
All right, great.
And that's how we play Do I Like This? Up next.
Wait, was that really your Uncle Bruce?
Well, yeah, it is on my wife's side.
Is he in like entertainment or something? That picture looks awesome.
Why does he have a promo?
He's in sales, I think.
Okay.
This next game is called Comedy Catchphrase. I created a bunch of fictional comedians using clip art from the internet, and for each one, you guys got to try to tell me. You got to make up catchphrases for these guys, essentially.
Okay.
Fuck.
Anyone have a guess for this guy?
Like what this guy's catchphrase would be?
What does he seem like his catchphrase would be?
She said no, but I'm hearing yes.
Oh, that's a good one.
All right. Yeah, that jives with the dance. Anyone else have an idea?
I'm not gay.
Yeah, that works. All right, how about this lady?
Ugh.
This lady's like, only if my cats can come.
All right, how about this guy?
And that's why I only drink IPAs.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
I only like my coffee decaf. I don't know. He looks like a fucking barista to me.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
How about this lady?
Oof.
This lady's catchphrase is that's right, the patriarchy.
Yeah, she's giving off real "Am I Right, ladies" vibe.
Yeah, I was thinking with the blazer. She's like no, I need to speak to your manager now.
I think she is the manager.
Oh, she's the manager?
Yeah,
Okay.
why would you assume that she wasn't in management, bro?
Yeah. come on, bro.
It's the jeans. They don't look too professional. Looks casual. I guess she could be a gaff manager.
All right, how about this guy?
You could say I'm single.
Yeah.
Is that the unboxing guy?
I don't think so.
I think he does unboxes on YouTube.
I didn't do like good research on any of these. I just like searched one word and then screen grabbed faces. So
He probably unboxes fast food.
Oh, some shaming there, Jeff.
how about this guy?
Ask my gay liberal uncle.
That's my gay liberal uncle. Okay.
I don't know. I'm looking at his eye. I'm like, oh, am I looking at you or you?
God.
How about this guy?
Did you put the hat on him? Or
I
you-
did, yeah.
Man, this is not easy.
He just saw like one Eddie Murphy special and was like, "That's how I'm going to dress." And that's what I'm basing all of my comedy knowledge on.
It's all off of Delirious.
His catchphrase is "What the fuck?"
It's can I say the N-word here? That's what his catchphrase is. If he loves Eddie Murphy.
Honestly, if that was his bit, I'd probably be a fan of his.
If he just stole Eddie Murphy stuff.
No, if his thing was just like, can I say that? But like he never said it, obviously. But
Oh,
if,
yeah.
like his catchphrase was, can I say the N-word?
Can I say the N-word?
Did I say it?
Yeah, Fro, that's a good bit.
That was a good one?
That was a good one.
Hey, all right. Fuck yeah.
How about this lady?
I was like, get away from me, pedophile.
Yeah, I could see her saying that.
Yep, probably has.
I'm thinking she's like and that's why I love my cats. She's a cat girl for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
It says
Yep,
high
yeah.
jeans.
She's probably saying, "Oh, this is just another crazy day at the candy store." I have no idea.
What's the name of the club?
Yeah, she works at a club called the Candy Store.
And last but not least, this guy.
Mine is that LASIK is bullshit.
And I wasn't even the class clown.
Mine is yeah. So I fingered him.
So I
Yeah.
figured.
Yeah, I like that. Let's leave it there. Our next game is called Conspiracy Query. I've made a bracket of some out there conspiracy theories, and we're going to go through matchup by matchup, voting for the one we think is most plausible until we find the most plausible conspiracy theory.
You know what? This is a perfectly thought out scientific method, and I fully back this.
Yeah, and then I guess the one that is last is real.
Right. Yeah.
Do we just jump in anywhere? Or are we going to do it
We're
in
going to
order?
start with the first one. Pigeons aren't real versus Planet X.
Yeah, I just want to go on the record and say, Jeff, why don't you let Tim host his show?
Holy shit.
Why don't you let him do that?
This is why you kicked me off the other show.
That's right. You're too aggressive. All right.
Way too aggressive.
Most plausible, Planet X, because I've seen a pigeon unfortunately be like hit by a car, and I've seen its biological innards, and so for me, I know that's only anecdotal evidence, but that's what I'm basing my vote on. So I'm going Planet X.
Wait, is that a real thing that pigeons aren't real?
Well, it's a real conspiracy theory. People think they're like surveillance drones.
What?
Because people will say, "Oh, you've never seen a baby pigeon, so they must be like artificial."
They're in a nest. What's Planet X?
That's just the idea that there's like another secret planet in our solar system that NASA and or the government in general is hiding from the public. So,
All right, I guess that's more plausible anyway.
Yeah, I think Planet X is the more plausible one, but I want pigeons aren't real to be the
Maybe.
real one.
more plausible, yeah. Next up, the CIA killed JFK or Israeli animal assassins.
This is an easy CIA killed JFK.
Yeah, I'm going to say that that's true, and I don't even know what Israeli animal assassins are.
So the Israeli animal assassin thing is that the Israeli government has trained animals, sharks or whatever else, to kill people.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
Or spy somehow. I don't follow that piece as well, but
The thing that throws me off about that is like, why is Israel, like, why is that specific to them?
yeah, there's a thought of it. But yeah, I guess it sounds like we're
CIA, I guess.
all right. False history versus AIDS is man-made.
What's the false history one?
That is the idea that the calendar as we know it is not true, and that at certain points in history, people just added in hundreds of years to the timeline because it was beneficial to them at the time. One of them is that like a pope added 200 years to the calendar just so that he could make himself happen to be the person who was pope at the turn of the first millennium, I think. And that he could derive some kind of symbolism from that. So this basically says that there's a lot of forgered history throughout the centuries. Basically, the government or powers that be fucking with the calendar and the timeline to their benefit.
Ooh, this is a tricky fucking first rounder right here.
Well, before we go there, I would not think that AIDS is man-made. That's me. What do you guys think about that?
I don't think so. I honestly, because time is a construct by man, I see no reason why there wasn't a point in time where it couldn't have been manipulated like that. So I would go more false history than AIDS.
Yeah.
I also think, especially when there are times where large majorities of the population were illiterate and stuff, and like not even that, like not following global calendars and timelines that much, that would have been easy to do at certain points in history.
You could also just tell me that this happened at this time. We're like, okay.
Right.
So I'm an example.
If like, you know, during World War II, which was like what, 60, 70 years ago, if like
a lot longer than that.
It was 80. It wasn't a lot longer than that, bro.
Whatever.
But like the fact that, you know, people backed Hitler, and like in hindsight, everyone's like, how could people have ever done that? It's like, because people can be swayed. So why, like to Tim's point, if people were even less educated further back, what would stop anybody from just manipulating a calendar like that?
So well spoken, Matt.
What
a great point.
Thanks, Jeff.
Next up is the government controls the weather and or earthquakes versus LBJ killed JFK.
Well, you can only have one. Is it the CIA or LBJ?
Well, I think the CIA. I've heard the CIA work together with a bunch of people, but
the CIA is. I mean, the most generic version of it is that they were concerned about JFK from a national security perspective and thought he was putting the country at risk, and so thought that they needed to execute him. LBJ's motivation and the conspiracy theories involving him are that there was talk of removing him from the ticket in the re-election campaign, and so maybe he killed JFK to make sure that he didn't get removed from the White House, essentially. So it's more of a question of like why.
Okay.
I think I don't think LBJ had the means to orchestrate something like that, especially get away with it the way it has, but I could believe the CIA could pull something like that off. So I would, I mean, because of that, I think I would have to go with the government controls the weather to some regard, especially nowadays. I mean, technology, you never know. You never know. You never know.
They could control some stuff.
I think so.
Have you seen those machines that literally make clouds?
Yeah.
I mean, those exist. Clouds are weather. They make them so that they precipitate, which would in turn be a control of weather. So,
well, that's called cloud seeding. That's something they've been doing forever.
And Native Americans could do rain dances. So, you know,
we almost got there. Let's do government controls weather.
Yeah, I think so. All right, second half of round one. The CIA was behind the crack epidemic versus electronic harassment. And
what is specific to the electronic harassment?
Yeah, so that's the idea. There are people that refer themselves as afflicted individuals. They even have support groups and stuff for this, who believe they're being targeted by the government with electronic weapons that make them feel nauseous or make them feel disoriented. So they believe that the government does this to individuals to either silence them or disturb them to the point that they can be controlled.
Well, I'll just say, as a black person, the CIA caused the crack epidemic.
I'll say that too. Not as a black person, though.
I'll say that only because the other one is less likely.
Right.
All right. And then next up, Jonestown was essentially part of connected to MK Ultra mind experimentation, or the U.S. government allowed Hitler to live after World War II, and he lived out his days in Argentina.
The MK Ultra is the like super soldier thing, right?
No, yeah. MK Ultra is the mind control.
I think they're both kind of the thing, right?
Like it's like the sleeper agent, right? Where like you say like a trigger word and it'll kind of like, is it that one?
Yeah, it's mind control.
Okay.
In that regard, and then in the basically the Jonestown thing was like,
that's the cult, right?
Orchestrating this, or something went wrong, and that's what caused these people to act the way that they did.
I don't know. I can go either way with this one. Because I don't know. I wasn't there at World War II.
No, I see absolutely no benefit or any reason why the U.S. would allow Hitler to live. He's not like there's no motivation for that. There's none. So I would go with the MK Ultra Jonestown one.
Yeah, I'll go with that one too.
That's fine with me.
It's not like Hitler had leverage to say,
right,
let me do this. will stop fighting or something. Next up is FEMA concentration camps versus Area 51.
What are we debating about either of these?
The FEMA concentration camps one is that I think there's like people have seen body bags and stuff like that and think that FEMA is orchestrating concentration camps where there are mass deaths potentially or disappearances. Area 51 being that there really is alien activity that they're protecting there.
Well, with the new stuff that's supposedly out.
I know, right?
That's the one I would go with. I don't know if specifically Area 51, but
What's the new stuff? I've been living under a rock.
Some videos just recently just surfaced that were like now officially confirmed by like the Navy, just the U.S. government, that it's very possible UFOs.
It's not very possible. The Pentagon themselves released a video confirming that this is a UFO. We don't know what it is.
Want to go with Area 51?
Yeah, because I don't buy into that FEMA shit.
All right. The U.S. government was behind the killing of Nikola Tesla, or COVID-19 is a hoax. Insert your COVID-19 conspiracy theory here.
I don't have one. I don't think it's a fucking hoax. I mean, it's everywhere. So
some people will think that it's man-made or that it was used as like a bioweapon by the Chinese or something like that.
Oh, if that's the case, that's totally plausible, I think. But that it doesn't exist, that's a crazy person who thinks that. The government killed Tesla. On the other hand,
that one, if you don't know, is basically that he was onto some kind of discovery that was going to make it hard to monetize
electricity.
Isn't
there a movie about that coming out soon?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think there is a movie about that soon. I mean, if we're going with a possible biochemical warfare thing, I'd say COVID's going forward, but my take.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Tesla. I'm very comfortable going with COVID, I guess.
Yeah, I'll go COVID. I think there's some wacky stuff going on there.
Really weird.
All right. Round 2, Planet X versus the CIA killed JFK.
CIA.
I'll go there.
CIA.
Yeah. I don't understand the motivation to hide a planet.
Unless it's filled with a bunch of hotties.
I think part of it is that eventually this planet will collide with ours, and so they're trying to keep people pacified. But yeah, I think CIA killed JFK.
Well, it fucking better or not.
I know. I'd be so pissed. I'm actually gonna have a hard time sleeping tonight. This is like all this stuff's freaking me
out. Next up, false history versus the government controls the weather.
I'm going to say false history.
I would also go with false history, even though, and no, what's funny about that is like we've already confirmed that the government, by definition, controls weather because they can cloud seed. So, I mean, it's for the sake of fun. I'm going to go false history.
Yeah, but Tim, I know this is just for my own curiosity. You mentioned a couple things, specific things when you first mentioned it: earthquakes and what else?
Weather like hurricanes and that sort of thing. Usually, mostly to like weaponize or disrupt elections. That would be kind of the idea.
All right. I'm going to look into that and freak out.
Next up, the CIA is behind the crack epidemic versus Jonestown is connected to the MK Ultra.
I'm going crack epidemic, baby.
Me too.
All right, let's hold on a second, all right? Let's think about this.
I don't know a lot about the crack stuff, but
I mean, I guess it is still more plausible than mind control, so I'd probably have to vote crack epidemic as well.
What's the reason? What's the history behind that, Tim? The crack epidemic?
It's like it's supposed to be like a racial thing.
That's what I think. It was distributed to like poor communities.
Yeah, poor black communities. I mean, there are definitely white people that got their hands on it, but it's mostly more towards black communities.
as a way to like incriminate and incarcerate them?
Who knows?
I think is part of it, like population control. I think there might also be uh,
Money.
that it was an accident. Like they were involved in like drug deals for the purposes of like surveilling drug dealers in Mexico or whatever, and somehow as part of the work that they were doing, the crack epidemic ended up filtering into the United States and into Black communities. But then there are other ones where it's like, no, they did it on purpose to Black communities to control them.
I mean, are they doing the same thing to white communities with heroin to control them? Because I think it's just, I'm not saying that they didn't introduce it, but I fail to see the reason for that motive.
It's a very roundabout way to do what they were already doing.
Yeah, I know. If they wanted to do what they were doing, they could just continue what they were doing.
All right. Area 51 really does have aliens and alien paraphernalia hidden there versus COVID-19 is a bioweapon or something like that.
God, what if it's both, guys?
We're through the looking glass here, people.
Probably is. I mean, I still enjoy the idea of the COVID's a bioweapon more.
You
so
enjoy that, bro.
Well,
You get the real kick out of it.
yeah, I get a kick out of it.
Kind of makes you smile before you go to sleep at night. Wow, that's genius.
I'm living my best life being in quarantine right now.
So are we specifically tied to the idea that COVID-19 is a bioweapon, or
Or
is it just,
or it's not real? If you've got another thought on a conspiracy.
because the conspiracy that I would buy into the most is I definitely think it's real. I do think it is I do think there would be motivation and reason to take advantage of this epidemic to obtain certain amount of control from the public.
In other words, like keep everybody inside, or
Maybe just for like a little bit longer, or shake the ways to adjust economic direction, stock market, playing around with and things like that. And I don't know. There's just too much information coming out now, and also I don't like the idea of like social media censoring information because they deem it to be incorrect. So if they were, Facebook outright, I mean, Mark Zuckerberg said if it's not from the WHO, the World Health Organization, then it's not to be trusted, and they will remove it. But the WHO are the people who originally said that, like, based off of because they're listening to China and they get ton of funding from China, and they won't even acknowledge the leader of the World Health Organization on camera will not acknowledge Taiwan as its own country because of its turmoil with China. And it's like, you're the World Health Organization. You were directly asked about how Taiwan. Did anybody see that video?
no?
Anyone see what happened?
No.
This is actually what happened with that. The head of the World Health Organization on a live camera chat. This is the series of events. The reporter asked, about Taiwan's response to COVID-19. The World Health Organization leader said, "I think China's done a great job." The reporter doubled down and said, "Yes, but what about Taiwan?"
Oh, that video? Yeah, I saw that.
The guy hung up on the call.
He got disconnected.
He got disconnected, and he came back, and she asked one more time, and he said, "I think we've already covered China. We can move on." They won't even, that's how in the pot. And so we're supposed to trust what the World Health Organization is telling us, and that's the only information we're allowed to spread on our social media. And they were incorrect. They flat out said that in early February, they said, "Oh, this disease cannot travel from human to human." That's what they put out, and they were fucking wrong. And now we have to willingly only take our information from them. So the fact that that's happening, and they're doing these antibody tests, and now it's like the numbers are getting it could have been much more widespread, which would put the fatality rate way down. It's like, but people are so scared. They're so scared to do anything. And now it's like starting to like divide people even more, because now some people are like, hey, I want to go back to work. And other people are like, you're a fucking asshole. And it's just like, I don't know, there's too much going on with it for me to like think it's so as cut and dry as people want to make it out to be.
Does that persuade either of you guys to move it forward?
Yeah, I'll move it forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still fine with it.
Yeah, it makes Hofro happy.
Yeah, exactly. And I've also been on record for saying that I don't think aliens exist, so I can't get Area 51 going.
Yeah, he can. He doesn't want to make himself look like a fool.
Nope.
Yeah, that's the worst thing that could ever happen to anybody.
All right, on to our final four. The CIA killed JFK versus false history.
Got 2 CIAs in the final 4, guys.
Yeah.
I just like, from my own personal, whatever, my own false history of going through all this stuff, I would put CIA first.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
I'd say false history only because there's a lot more opportunity for that to happen in the history of time. And I feel like if the CIA really killed JFK, which for the record, I definitely think they did, I feel like by now, like somebody would have talked or something would have gotten, there would have been some like smoking gun by now about it. But
About the JFK thing?
yeah.
Well, is false history also specifically only about time?
It is, yeah. It's not about necessarily that events have been falsified or like that events have been altered in events. I think there's some mention of like events were made up to kind of fill the time that people added to the timeline.
Okay, but it's mostly a strongly time-based thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if this is also like involving like the Berenstein Bears versus the Bernstein Bears type of thing.
No.
I mean, I still think false history probably has a stronger. I think false history has a stronger chance of being more legit than CIA, but I'm not the smart one out of these two.
That's at least 2 of you though for false history. So.
Yeah, whatever. I can go false history.
So easily persuaded.
Me? I don't. I'm freaked out every single thing on this thing.
What if they're all real? Even the Israeli animal assassin.
That one's sick.
Yeah, it is honestly really cool.
I don't know which one to dive into as soon as we stop this.
I would suggest pigeons aren't real.
Okay.
That's honestly the most intriguing one on this this whole time to me.
CIA caused the crack epidemic versus COVID-19 conspiracy.
I go hard COVID.
Yeah, Matt's a COVID conspiracy theorist. I got to stick with my people. I'm going with the CIA and the crack epidemic.
How?
If we're doing this democratically, then I could sway either way.
Yeah, are you a smart person, or are you a someone who caves easily to Fro?
To Fro, and also I got to make sure I'm on the right side of history here. Let's see. I mean, I've heard about the CIA crack epidemic stuff before, and I don't know. I mean, I believe that, and I also believe that there's something. I believe in the virus and everything, but I also believe that things are a little too convenient right now.
Yeah, things are off. I mean, look at there's places in the country that didn't lock down at all, and they're no worse than anyone else. There's countries that didn't lock down at all. There's a lot of stuff going on where, at first, obviously, you have to react, right? You have to react. You have to do something. I think what happened was the right decision. But, I mean, when people get power, it's very hesitant to relinquish it.
Maybe there's like a once in a century lizard people convention happening right now, and they just needed everything shut down.
Maybe.
Shapeshifters? As far as that wasn't on there.
We've done this a few times, so we always try to change up what
Gotcha.
conspiracies we put on here.
We just had a phone conversation, like a FaceTime, my son and his grandparents, my wife's parents, and my father-in-law said, all this is a bunch of fucking bullshit. And then my son said that. So I'm gonna have to go with my family and do COVID-19.
Smart choice.
All right. The finals here, false history versus COVID-19 conspiracy.
I mean, because we're living through it right now, I'm going to go COVID.
I saw this I peeked, I saw this. This was right in the bottom right. I didn't think it would get all the way up here, and I'm afraid it's going to be the winner. I could go either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so topical.
So topical. Like I said, it's just like, I mean, people are returning. People are getting sick of being stuck inside, right? People are going out. You see all those news stories about like all these people crowded the beach. And those stories have been happening for like a couple weeks now. And you know what you're not hearing is like massive spike of like COVID and massive this. However, we still have to fucking shut down everything, and like the economy is going to suffer. And like people misconstrue the economy. They think the economy is money. The economy is production, and money is going to be fucking worthless when you can't buy anything with it. So the fact that like you're getting your stimulus package and you're getting money on it, like that's all well and good. But if production breaks or production shuts down, that money is gonna be fucking not even worth the paper it's printed on, because you can't fucking buy anything because everything's fucked. So the fact that like people are rallying against that, or people think that they should be rallying against that, is insane to me. But they base those opinions off of the information that they are given, and then that just seems odd to me.
Yeah, but I think the whole thing was about flattening the curve, right? It's because like hospitals and shit would be overcrowded if the growth rate of the virus was what people assumed it was, and
right.
Ended up being pretty much accurate. And hospitals were overwhelmed anyway, and probably would have been way more fucked otherwise.
So I'm gonna have to straight up disagree with you there, Timmy boy. There are hospitals that are empty and are on the precipice of being closed because they're not allowed to work in them, because they can't do elective surgeries and they can't do everything. They brought that the USS, what is it, like Hope or whatever, the medical boat into New York Harbor. They barely used it, and they already sent it back, because even New York, because you're right. The fear was that the medical system will be overrun, but it never was. It never ever was. I think they were right to prepare for it.
I think it is overrun in some places. My company has a lot of clients that are in the medical space in New York. So again, it probably depends on where you're talking about. If you're talking about one of the epicenters of it, then that's probably going to be impacted more than other places that are less populous or whatever else.
Right, but if your clients are in New York and they're overrun, why did they get rid of the ship? Why did the naval medical ship leave?
I don't know anything about this.
We should call them.
Want me to call
them? Yeah, get New York on the phone.
All right, hold on. Let me call.
Oh, we should get the people that Tim works with on the phone.
I think it's like there might be very small pockets, but overall, the medical health system did not collapse. It did not fail, and the goal was to flatten the curve, which I think we have.
Yeah, but it's also a question about whether it could have if the curve wasn't flattened. It's hard to.
Because everything's hindsight's 2020, right? Everything's like, oh, we should have done that, we should have done this, and there's a lot of people making a lot of big criticisms, doing a little armchair booking, but now, as time goes on and we get our own research and we discover, there's all these tests of people being randomly tested for antibodies, and some people are projecting that the virus spread, over 55 times more than what it could have, than people thought it did, but so many people it affects people in so many different ways that a lot more people are asymptomatic. Like in New York, right? In New York, for example, like 220 pregnant women gave birth in New York during like the peak of it, and because they went in, they all had to get tested for COVID. 30 women had it. Only 4 of them had any symptoms. The other 26 had no clue that they had COVID at all, because that's something that we learned. It was not something that we knew ahead of time. So all the measures that initially were taken, I don't begrudge anyone. I think you have to do something. I think they operated with the information they had at the time, but the information we have now is definitely, I don't think it's being considered for, as much as I think it should be for reopening things and whatnot. Because no one wants to be the person who reopens their state or their town and it was the wrong choice, right? And I get that. It's a hard decision to make. But again, if the economy fucking, it's like on thin ice right now. If it cracks through the ice, the fucking COVID will be the least of your problems, because as history will tell you, and statistics will show you that more people will die from a weak economy for a myriad of reasons. It's not something like it's not like an illness, but they can't afford, medicine. They can't do this. They can't do that. And then it's just like that's a lot longer to come back from.
Well, just like a disease, it depends on the severity, obviously. So it's a trade-off, no matter how you look at it.
Right. It's a hard call to make, and to your point, and either direction could be the right or wrong direction, and then hindsight will be like, well, we should have done that, but you can't. You can't go back in time unless you falsify history.
So false history. That should be the one.
So are we saying that's what takes the bracket?
Got to be COVID.
I mean, I think if we just had that long discussion about it, and then we're like, nah, false history, it'd be a bit disingenuous.
All right. Not that we need more debate here, but it's time for hot takes.
Hell yeah.
Here's how this game works. You guys are each going to take turns giving an opinion that you think qualifies as a hot take. Then the other 2 of you, and I'll be the tie-breaking vote, will vote on whether it's truly a hot take or not. If 2 out of 3 people think it's not a hot take, then you're eliminated, and the remaining contestants can go on sharing their hot takes. You want to be the last man standing. So
oh God!
Even if you're eliminated, you get to keep voting. Matt, let's start with you.
All right. So my hot take. My hot take is that if you subscribe to the idea of socialism or democratic socialism, you're afraid of competition, and you're a weak contributor to society.
Yeah, I guess that's a hot take.
Well, I don't know if that's a hot take in this day and age in the United States. That's like,
I think it's
that's like your dad's take, my dad's take.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a hot take.
You don't think it's a hot take?
It's a pretty standard take, actually.
It's not your circle, but I think that line has been part of American culture for decades. I think a lot of people feel that way.
Sure. I mean, if you don't think it's a hot take, I'll just assume that you're all a bunch of pinkos, and you want the government to feed your kids.
If you took the opposite position of yours, it would equally not be a hot take, just because there's plenty of people who feel that way too.
Man, I wish I was in y'all's circles, because me thinking that was a hot take is because that's all that's like shoved in my face everywhere I go.
I don't know.
What were you going to say, Jeff?
Well, I don't really have any hot takes. That's like my thing. But I was talking about it with Rachel today. I say, here's the hot. I think communism is kind of cool.
Oh God!
You too.
I didn't see it.
Wait. Do you think it's cool or like a good idea?
I don't think caring about other people. Oh wait, how do I phrase this and not like fall right into one of your traps, Matt? Okay. I don't think it's being afraid of competition. I think it's I'm just an idiot. I think it's like, if you have it, you can help other people.
Yeah, but what's this? Why do you need a government mandate to do that? why can't you just, if you have it, help other people?
I'm in a big trap now. I don't know.
People were living in squalor before there was any kind of government-oriented safety net. It's not like people were swimming in the donations of the rich before there was the New Deal and the Great Society and all that stuff.
Sure. But those all existed under a capitalist government. I mean, I'm not saying there's no place for social programs in a society. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But the idea of socialism or communism as a government construct, I think it's a poor philosophy, and I don't think it's in any way, shape, or form a good idea.
But what if I said capitalism is really bad?
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, capitalism can be bad, but I don't think, at least capitalism is more of a opportunistic structure than socialism is.
Yeah,
but I don't think we're arguing extreme ends of a spectrum where everybody is somewhere in the middle. Basically, anybody I know, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know anybody that's advocating for like America to become Stalin's USSR.
And we are in different worlds.
I mean, you're in different worlds from a lot of your like actual friends.
If you have people, you're saying you don't think you're not saying there's no place for there to be social programs, and so I think for people to say those should be expanded, to me that's not the same thing as saying we should be a totalitarian communist government.
Right. You know, so we can take a popular one is like, let me ask you this question. Do you think healthcare is a right?
I don't know if I would frame it in that language. I think having socialized medicine in this country is long overdue. I think, I don't know that it necessarily has to be Medicare for all or even single payer. I think there are a lot of countries that do it well. I lived in Scotland for a few years growing up, and the health system over there ruled. Like, hey, I had like
Tim, real quick.
Yeah.
Do your best Scottish impression.
Absolutely not. So anyway, but I also lived in Portugal where they had socialized medicine and it was bad.
Right.
So I think my point is there are good ways to do it, and I don't see why we wouldn't try to figure that out at this point. I think what we have now does not work for lots of people.
Right. Well, insurance companies are definitely an issue, right? Like the price of things is insane. That's more the issue. But so I could be persuaded on a redistribution of, a redistribution of of budget for more availability and things like that. But so a lot of people in my circles, right? This is where I'm coming from. A lot of people argue that, healthcare is a human right. And it's like, healthcare ultimately is a service, right? Someone has to provide the healthcare to you. I don't think at any time, for any reason, anybody's service should be considered a right, because the only way to uphold a right like that is to force somebody. I mean, this is an extreme example, but it comes down to it, by gunpoint to do something, and I don't think that is correct. I don't disagree that
protection is a service too, and we think that's a right that everybody deserves from the police or the army or whatever.
It's a right that you're allowed to provide yourself.
So you don't think there's a need for agencies that protect the public at large?
No, it's not that I don't think it's a right, but I think that if you pay into but that's not a right. It's a guarantee. It's something you pay for through your taxes. It's not like you're born and then there's a person next to you and you go, hey, you have to protect me. it's my right.
I think that gets to the heart of the issue, is that framing it in like rights language, and this happens a lot in political discourse, where you frame things in the rights of this group versus that group. Do you have a right to play guitar loudly in your apartment versus do you have a right to live in an apartment that's free from people playing guitar loudly next door? And I feel like that creates these ideological divides where people are just talking past each other because they're so dug in on these like these big idea philosophical things, as opposed to just getting to the root of the stuff that we all agree on. That's like, who cares if you want to say healthcare is a right, or we think it's analogous to personal safety and something that should be subsidized for the government. Let's agree that health insurance sucks and figure out a better system.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but that won't get you on the news. And also, that's not like, no one's in the street laying down in traffic saying, hey, healthcare sucks, we should have a conversation about it. That's not what their signs are saying. That's not the cool kitschy thing to do or say. And yeah, that's where I think I think people get, and I don't disagree with it. I think you're completely correct that when people frame things as what is and isn't a right, that yeah, they just talk past each other.
I will say, I think communism is good would be a hot take, especially as
I said cool
from socialism.
Well, I guess, okay, my hot take, I personally think it's okay. If you want to, you can still say retard or gay or anything if you want to. Most of the time, well, not most of the time.
Pro wanted to.
What?
I said you wanted to.
Yeah. If you want to, you can say that, because I think a lot of the times it's not meant in a derogatory way toward the specific group of people that the word is associated with.
What?
So when we were growing up, and I'm going to call you all out, I'm sure all of you said it.
And we were ignorant kids.
There's no evidence.
Yeah. We definitely would have said, that's gay or that's retarded, something like that. And I don't think every single time anybody says that person should be like chastised or like crucified for it. Like, yes, they need to adapt, but it's not what that person means. There's no hatred behind when somebody says it. So if Jeff said something stupid, I'd be like, dude, you're retarded.
I will say I don't think that's a hot take, because
I agree.
I think most people, like, if I know somebody is just like ignorantly doing that and not actually meaning it in a derogatory way, I'm not like berating them or telling them that they're a piece of shit or anything like that. And I think a lot of people feel that way, that like I might cringe if somebody does that, but I'm not like condemning them in my brain. You know what I mean?
Tim, I gotta like live in your world, because I think I'd be much happier in yours.
You'd be so much happier not being you.
It's not me. It's just.
What do you think?
No, it's you.
Matt, are you talking about the people that you interact with, Matt, that are using it? They're saying these words.
No, not that they're saying that. I'm saying because Tim just said, Tim based his rebuttal on his personal experience, and he says, I don't know a lot of people, or I don't think a lot of people would chastise someone for saying that or doing something like that. They might cringe, but they won't whatever. Versus me, where in the circles that I somehow fucking fell into, you would be a pariah. You would be, and they would vocalize it, and it would be a fucking big deal.
Yeah, I got fucking crucified for it back in school when the peer leaders showed up and asked us if we used it. And they go, if any of you use these words, go to one side of the room, and others who don't use it, go to the other side. I was the only one that went to the side that said, yes, I use those words.
And I was likely, in all seriousness, kids in your class were lying, right?
100%. And I called every single one of them out. I was like, you guys are fucking liars. 100% liars.
You swore in school. You're so cool.
Yeah, dude. I'm a fucking edgelord. Of course I swore. No, but I was like, you guys are all liars. I know for a fact that you all have done this and said this. I'm not the only person that's done this. I've changed my ways. I don't really say these words ever.
I'm not saying it's the same thing, but what's your reaction if you hear somebody use the N-word?
It's not.
I'm so happy you asked him. I'm so happy you asked him that.
I mean, it all depends on how it's being used. If it's some fucking dude in a Confederate flag shirt who calls me it, then calls me specifically that's an issue. If
Would you cringe if it was like just a white dude who thought it was cool to say it?
Yeah, I'd be like, oh God, you fucking loser. If it's some dude who's like, dude, that new Jay-Z album, that's my N-word. I'm like, okay, this guy's a fucking dork.
And you cringe, and then I would imagine if you hang out with that person a lot and they keep doing that, eventually you're like, hey, FYI.
Black dude over here.
That.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I've definitely been involved in that, and I've had somebody calling me that. I was like, dude, I'm not your good friend. You don't have to call me that. Like, I'm not that with you.
Like a white person call you that?
Yeah.
I think I saw that happen to you.
Maybe. But yeah, no, it is, I understand it. Yeah, so.
But going back, when you say you want to say gay, you want to say retarded, I don't think that's a hot take. I think a lot of people feel that way.
That people shouldn't be crucified for it?
Yeah, I don't think, for saying it?
Yeah.
Certainly not. Like, I'm a card-carrying member of the PC police. But I don't think it's I also don't think I should tell people what to do.
I think it all depends on what they're saying. If somebody called you it, any derogatory term with any sort of malice, yeah, then I think that person should be called out. But if it's just somebody being like, being like, oh, I'm from Boston, this is fucking retarded, then it's just like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's more of a taste thing. This is weird to say. More of a taste thing than a moral thing necessarily. Like, again, like that's where the cringe dynamic comes into me, where I'm just like, yikes, who talks like that?
Right.
I think that's what it is. Like, I don't mean to cut you off, but I think, like, if I ever encounter stuff like this, it's more of an inner semi-discomfort and I'm not going to crucify anybody.
Right. I'm hanging out with you guys from now on.
Well, if we hung out all the time, Matt, what would happen is you would talk nonstop.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't crucify you.
That'd be good. I've gotten really good at censoring myself and being aware of the people that I'm talking to. But it's not to say that, like, I'm dying to use these words or have any, like, inclination to use them. I really don't. But the idea of, like, so pretty much I'll the reason why I came to this with, like, hey, this is a hot take and, like, this is a big deal, and, like, pretty much everyone was like, no, I think a lot of people wouldn't like that, or I think a lot of people would, not necessarily agree with what you're saying, but not flip out about it, is like, because I come from, like, the Cambridge, Massachusetts, like, liberal comedy scene, and that place is a fucking nightmare. So, like, that's why I'm like, I don't know, not that I'm, like, surprised or shocked, but I don't know. It's just, it's endearing to know that normalcy and people with, like, that are rational exist.
Of course, Matt.
I also think most people are probably more reasonable than the line that they have locked and loaded, or whatever their hot take is on a subject.
I think once we make a snap judgment decision and then we go on our social media and announce it, we sort of become trapped by it, even if we think a little bit more about it and change our minds later. So that's why I think hot takes are, I don't know, dumb.
We're seeing it here too, where you feel a need to defend your hot take as opposed to, like, being open to it being challenged, or even being open to saying, yeah, that sucks.
I trapped myself.
Yeah, but of course, like, those types of things take years to change. I grew up super religious, and that took years of, like, peeling the layers off to like change how I saw the world, you know. And so I just feel like these things that people, I don't, has it always been this way that like your ideology is part of your identity, or is that new?
I don't think so.
I think it's pretty new. I think, you know why? Because I think, to Fro's point earlier about like why is COVID such a big deal, I think social media has a big part of it, and a lot of people attach these ideologies to their identity because they can easily and quickly display it, and it's the quickest way to like tell a lot about yourself in a short amount of time by just being like, oh, what about me? This. And then everyone's like, oh, so you believe all these things? And it's like, yeah, sure. And then people, like you said, feel the need to defend that because they feel, I don't know, they're conflating the idea with a challenge or an attack on an ideology with them as a person.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot. I think we can miss out on so many fulfilling conversations because we confuse ideology and identity so much.
Right.
That's why, like, there's people in my life who are hardcore Trump supporters. I mean, this is just like an aside. This is an example of like many things, but there's still people that I kind of love, you know? It's strange.
Well, how about that?
So we're talking about the confusion between identity and ideology. It's not exactly who you are.
No, but some people do that. And also, like, I don't know, some people willingly, in my, experience, some people willingly do that. They attach themselves to an ideology because it's easier to dive in fully into something like that's already kind of like built versus developing your own thoughts or your, kind of like developing your own identity. It's just easier to be like, no, I'm this.
To attach yourself to a worldview instead of having to build your own.
Right.
Yeah, people do that all the time. And it's also the belonging aspect.
Yes.
That like if you find your people and they all feel the same way about certain things, that it's not just your individual identity, it's part of your group identity.
Yep. And then, it gets to be and then people are like running for office and they're not speaking to individuals, they're speaking to these groups. And it's like everything's like so like all or nothing idea where it's like I believe this and everything that goes with it, and if you have any questions about this one specific part of it, then you're out of the group. And that's how everyone is, or everyone thinks everybody else is.
Mm-hmm.
And it just fucking is awful and just destroys the idea of conversation. It destroys the idea of discourse, because what's the point of trying to have a thoughtful, fact-finding, open-minded conversation with someone when you see the button on their shirt says X, Y, or Z, and you assume everything about them, and they assume the same things of themselves?
I remember in college a specific moment where we were talking about something in poli-sci, and this one kid was starting to express a really specific thought. And the professor was like, it's weird to me that you would say that, because that is like, you're basically expressing support for a big government when I know you're a small government guy. And he's like, oh, shit, I guess I don't believe that. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that happens all the time.
As soon as somebody says, oh, that actually is not consistent with your larger worldview, that they immediately veer from it. I think, and it's just tribalism.
Yeah.
At this point. And
that's why when I get into like a lot of, I mean, Fro knows this, I get into like a lot of political debates with people, and like we had one earlier today, and I was like, I don't like socialism. I'll never support it, but I'm not going to pretend, and I didn't, that like there isn't room for, social societal programs, because we have to act as a functioning society, and there's parts of it that are good. I just think, like I said, the government idea of it is bad, but I wouldn't say that. And someone's like, yeah, well, do you ever call the fire department or something like that? And I'd be like, no, I never do. I put out my own fire.
Or yeah, I guess I'm an anarchist now.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's leave it there and get back to a much more lighthearted place.
Didn't you specify light and fun?
I did. I just as an example, one of the last times we did this, somebody's hot take was small pizza tastes different than big pizza.
That didn't happen on this one.
Oh my god, what did happen on this one?
None of your viewers are coming over to Top 5 of Death. Not a fucking single one. Everyone thinks we're the worst people, and they're not wrong, and that's fine because we have our. But if you're a closet bad person, you can go check us out at Top 5 of Death.
Speaking of which,
fuck.
last game is called Top 5 versus Death. So the three of you guys tragically died, but I'm going to let you decide how. Matt, tell us how Jeff died.
Jeff died because he saw a porno movie where a guy was fucking his own ass, and he thought that he could do the same thing. However, he pulled on his dick so hard to try to get it to fit in his butthole that he accidentally yanked out his intestines and died.
I like it. Jeff, how did Fro die?
Fro died because, or he died from a government orchestrated earthquake.
Not a crack epidemic?
No. The government had an earthquake. They were going to get Fro because he was going to expose them because they gave crack to low-income black communities, and he was telling everyone. So they designed an earthquake that killed him, and he died really brutally, actually.
Sick. Fro, how did Matt die?
So if you don't know, Matt has a new set of teeth that he's able to take out and in, put in. So Matt woke up one morning and he completely forgot to put his new teeth in. So he went downstairs and started to eat his cereal. He was eating fucking Captain Crunch, but it ripped apart the inside of his mouth real bad. So he started like bleeding out from the inside of his mouth, and he choked on his own milky cereal and blood.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, as a result, you're confronting death on the river Styx here. Your only way to fight your way back to life is to defeat death in combat. Matt is up first. It's D&D style. So Matt, your two moves are you can attack death by farting on him or by bumming him out by performing improv.
I'm going to bum him out.
All right.
With a fart or improv?
With improv. I'm going to roll this motherfucker. I got to get at least 15 to hit.
Yeah, let's try rolling for improv.
Fuck.
Not successful this time. Fro, you're up next. Your move set is you can attack him with your weed socks nunchucks, or you can hit him with a slap shot.
Damn, 45 damage.
Yeah, dude, I have a terrible shot, though, so that's very nice of you. I have terrible luck, so I'm going to try to roll low. So I'm going to go with my weed sock nunchucks.
All right, let's see. Let's go weed socks nunchuck. Nailed him. See those nunchucks.
Wow.
Damn, boy.
And those were actual Huff socks, so very nice.
Jeff, you're up next. You can either bum him out by playing sad songs on your guitar, or you can raid his refrigerator.
I guess I'm gonna do the fridge raid. So
All right.
Take your pants off.
Oh, you land the fridge raid.
Wow. Oh my god.
There was no shirt in the story. I was shirtless.
I felt weird making a shirtless Jeff for some reason.
He didn't feel weird taking his pants off, though.
But I also like that that Avatar still had shoes on.
Yeah. Probably did.
It's now Death's turn. He's going to try to hit you guys with a Death Ray first. And that's going to succeed.
Fuck.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Now he's going to try to hit you with the Necro Blast. And I think that's going to succeed too. Yep.
Ugh.
Ha-
So you guys are hurting. Matt,
Yeah.
back to you. You're going to fart or try improv again?
I feel like what's my hit point level? Like where am I at?
You guys have a total pool of 100 hit points.
What did we just lose?
You just lost like 60.
Jesus.
And what is Death's hit points?
He has 150.
Fuck, I'm at the what? I mean, go for broke. Can I get a suggestion of a word that starts with the letter B?
Beans.
Yep, perfect. He's mad about it. You deal the damage. 35 damage. Back to you, Fro.
Yeah, I suppose I should go big too. I should try to hit him with one of my patented slap shots.
All right, let's try it.
I could definitely not fit in those skinny jeans again.
Did it hit?
It hits.
Oh!
So you deal some pretty good damage to him. Up next is Jeff.
I just wrote a new song, so like, I
Yeah.
want to do the guitar one. Yeah.
All right. Let's try the guitar one. Yeah.
Oh, you succeeded.
Hit him for some more damage.
Look at those sad notes.
Yep.
Back to Death. Doesn't hit you. Hits you with the Death Ray.
Great.
It's only 18. Did he miss with a Necro Blast?
No, he missed. Yep.
Good. Oof. Good.
Oof.
Back to Matt.
What's Death at for hit points?
He's down to 80.
Looks like I'm doing another show, everybody. Improv.
I think you should fart on him this time.
No, I want to win.
Zip up.
Come on.
That lands.
Yes. That's a classic one. I always say fork and spoon when I hear somebody say that.
So he's down to 45 hit points.
Oh, we can do this. We can do this.
What's it going to be for? You want to do slap shot or the?
So Jeff has another shot, but his is 35, I think. I'll slap shot.
Okay.
Please.
It's a nat 22. It does double damage.
Wow.
Your boy.
Damn, 90.
Boom. I would never be able to successfully hit a slap shot like that in real life.
So that's enough to take him out. Let's see what happens.
We're good at D&D, everybody.
What happens?
Yeah, hit him. Oh.
Oh, Jeff came over. This guy's a guitar.
Oh, I'm farting on him. Farting on him.
Playing the songs.
There he goes.
That's so fucking funny.
Oh no. Oh wait. Oh, we're getting out.
Yeah, you're back from the grave.
Fro, why is your hand a different color?
It was black.
I don't know.
He looked for a black hand.
I searched it a couple times.
Yeah.
Wow. All these people
Who
work.
are all these people?
These are the credits from the movie Contact.
That makes sense to me.
All right. I'll just do some housekeeping stuff here. People can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at OverweightChamp. You can check out our Facebook page here. Let us know what you like about the show. We're always trying to make it better, more fun to watch. So let us know what you think. And then you can check out wasted-minds.com where we have links to all the podcasts that we do and all the episodes of this show, along with copies of Drinking Buddies that you can purchase I think that's all my plugs. You guys want to tell people where they can find Top 5 of Death?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, you can find Top 5 of Death on all your podcast listening devices. You can also go to makefun.network, which will lead you to our Facebook group, which is Make Fun Network, which is the network that Top 5 of Death is on, along with other shows like This Rules, This Sucks, Encyclocomica, which actually Tim's wife is a co-host on, and Anachronismo and Over Under Fair are other shows there. But also, if you want to find out anything and everything about that, you can go to makefun.network and become a fun butt. That's what we call our groups of fans.
Yeah, and I am always with Matt, so everything he said applies for me as well. But also, if you want, you can Google Black Hand and then click on the palm button, and you can probably find the exact image that Tim found for me in this game.
Did you Google Black Hand?
Probably.
I think I found the exact hand, so.
And you can find me on old episodes of Top 5 of Death, what I like to call the Silver Age of the Top 5 of Death. And on Instagram at Jeff Noth, N-O-T-H, and then also at jeffnoth.bandcamp.com, where I put a super sad song up the other day.
Oh.
At Jeff Noth on Instagram if you want to talk about like hot takes and stuff.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on, guys. And to everybody watching, we'll catch you next time.
Tim, thank you so much. This is so fun and cool.
Yes, Tim, thank you.